So if you want to get better at meat doneness, the best place to start is not a prime ribeye or a rack of lamb. Those are very expensive. But you know what's affordable? Pork tenderloin. At my local supermarket, it's $3 a pound. At this price, you can cook it on a regular basis until you know the reverse sear technique like the back of your hand. As you know from my previous videos, reverse sear is my go-to method for any thick, tender cuts of meat. By itself, pork tenderloin is a little boring, but once you add a pan sauce, it becomes a restaurant meal. Today we'll make a port reduction, but there are many variations on this theme. You see this little chunk of meat blocking our access to the silver skin? Let's remove it and save it for bulking up the skinny end of the tenderloin. Insert your knife under the silver skin and cut to the right to give yourself a flap. Turn your knife around and cut to the left. If you're left-handed, you would do a mirror image of this. You'd make a flap on the left and then cut to the right. Keep doing this until you remove all of the silver skin. It's chewy and unpleasant to eat. Remember this little muscle that we removed? It's much more useful in the skinny end. Cut your tenderloin into portion pieces so that you can easily fit it into your skillet. Measure the thickness of the meat and write it down. We'll need it to figure out internal temperature, minus 1¼ inches. I prefer to salt the meat a few hours or even a day before cooking to help with the juiciness, but that's not crucial. You're welcome to salt right before cooking, just make sure to dry it first. When you're ready to cook, preheat your oven to 250 Fahrenheit. Line a baking sheet with foil and place a rack on top. If you salted your tenderloin in advance, dry it very thoroughly with paper towels. Ignore this funny probe. I just got myself a new cooking toy and I am playing with it. Put the meat in the oven and set a timer for 20 minutes. While our meat is cooking, let's figure out all the temperatures. My target temperature for pork tenderloin is 135. Trichinosis parasites are not a safety concern the way they were in your grandparents' days, so pork is perfectly safe to eat medium rare. I bumped it up from 130 to 135 not because of safety, but because of a textural preference. Okay, so now that we know the target, let's figure out the pre-sear temperature. Since our meat is 1¼ inches, we should pull it out of the oven at 105, and that should take roughly 25 minutes. But of course, all ovens are different, so use a thermometer. Here we go. Our meat is ready for sear. Make sure you insert a thermometer sideways and find the minimum temperature. Really fish around in there. 2 thermometers are not necessary. I'm just testing my new toy. Put just enough neutral oil into a stainless steel skillet to cover the bottom. Set it over high heat and wait for the oil to get hot. How do you know? Well, first it starts to shimmer. In other words, you'll see little ripples. That's not hot yet. Then it starts to pull up in spots, leaving other spots bare. You see these divots in the oil? That's your sign that the oil is likely ready. Swirl the skillet to redistribute the oil and add the meat. It should make sizzling noises. Cook on the first side until you get good browning. Watch closely, it will only take a minute because the meat surface is very dry out of the oven. Flip and cook on the other side until brown. As soon as the second side is brown, turn off the heat. On an electric stove, move off the burner and stand the meat on the remaining 2 sides just to make them more appetizing, something like 20 seconds per side. Remove to a warm plate, insert a thermometer into one of the pieces so that you know how long to rest it. You should be getting around 115 out of the skillet, and the temperature will climb up to 135 during rest. Add just enough port to cover the bottom of the skillet, minus 10 inches edge to edge, so it's about a quarter cup for me. You can replace the port with any wine, red or white. Add a couple of cubes of Demi-glace. That's the reduced stock that we have made 10 different ways on this channel. I'll link to all the options in the description below the video. Each one of my cubes is roughly a quarter cup or 2 ounces. You can get away with 1 cube, but you'll have more sauce with 2 cubes. Set over high heat and bring to a boil. Scrape up the brown bits with a flat spoon. Cook, stirring until the sauce is syrupy. If you drag a spoon through it, it will look like parting the Red Sea. Add a couple of tablespoons of heavy cream and a tablespoon of whole grain Dijon mustard. Bring to a boil and then taste and correct for salt. Most of the time, I don't need any salt because the brown bits from the pork are plenty salty, but it's always good to taste. Our pork has rested to 139, just a bit higher than I wanted. By the way, if you catch the moment when it hits your desired target temperature, you can stop it from climbing higher if you slice immediately. Let's see how it came out. That's pretty juicy. Slice it, fan it out on a plate, and pour the sauce on top. By the way, if your freezer is not stocked with Demi-glace on a regular basis, here are some other options. Buy D'Artagnan Demi-glace, or Bell & Evans chicken stock, or Roly Roti chicken stock. All of those have sufficient gelatin content to make a good sauce. None of these products are cheap, but they're good. When you're comparing prices, be aware that Demi-glace is stock that is reduced 4 times, so you'll need way less of it. That's why the price for 1 cup of Demi-glace is about the same as the price for 4 cups of stock. If you want to skip stock altogether, you can deglaze the skillet with a couple tablespoons of white wine and a quarter cup of cream. The biggest mistake I see people make is deglazing with a lot of wine without using sufficiently flavorful and gelatinous stock. This results in a complete imbalance in flavor and a terrible texture. I'm sure I'll get questions about powdered gelatin, great idea for a braise, terrible idea for a pan sauce. I've addressed this topic in a lot of detail several years ago. The link is below the video, and so is the link to a thorough tutorial on how and why the reverse sear method works. Here are more detailed culinary tutorials for you to check out, and if you are ever in the Boston area, maybe I'll see you in one of my classes.